How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my monthly upload that I make whenever I get bored. Uh, I decided, the talking about the time travel thing was definitely my best video by far. Uh, and then playing Megabonk was by far my worst video. But I feel like I had more fun making the Megabonk video, so we're gonna try to combine this a little bit. So I'm gonna be playing some Cobblemon. As I yap about something, I'm like, play a game, but then yap about something else. And you may know what I'm yapping about already by the title of this video, or what probably is the title of this video, about VR chat players. What I think about them. I've made two videos on it. I feel like I'm a professional in this category now. So, why not talk about it? You see, VR chat players are definitely unique, I feel, because they don't you can't really find them anywhere else. They're very exclusively in VR chat. So, it really got me wondering why. Why can you find these kinds of people in this kind of game and how easily they are to be documented by people? I think, you know, the very most common reason as to why people play VR chat, and probably what you hear from them most often, is that they want an escape from reality. Now, my thoughts on that, obviously, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think you should be looking for an escape from reality. That's just running away from whatever problem you might have. But I think they're in a sort of right direction with it. Video games in general, I think, are kind of used as a pillar to support your life. Relieve stress, kind of better your mood. But they shouldn't be their own thing that stands separately from real life that you now live on. That's just not really healthy. And you that isn't just for VR chat. There are a lot of people who play video games, any video game, as an escape from reality, and they'll pretty much only play that video game or play an assortment of video games, have online friends, and online friends aren't bad, but when they're the only friends you talk to, it could definitely affect your mental, I feel, in a way you might not realize. But this isn't about just general VR chat players specifically. So, it happens when these people want an escape from reality, and the game they choose for that escape is VR chat, a place that is not only a game, but a place where you can talk to people. It's very common for people who have that idea to then go to the VR chat, regardless on if they stay or not. But the people that do stay, I think, are people that they're a very specific kind of people. And you may notice in a lot of those videos, VR chat trolling videos, where most people they encounter will be furries. And I think there's actually a pretty simple reason for that. It's kind of just, I have heard from people that fursuits are pretty expensive, and VR chat's kind of a way to just get a fursuit for free. So that's probably why you end up seeing a lot of furries on that game. At least that's what I think. And that's also why most people kind of lump those VR chat players in with furries because of how many of them are furries. But I think that's a bit unfair to do that. I think those guys are their own breed entirely. VR chat players are their own different thing. I don't think we can just lump them in with furries. That's almost disrespectful. Um, VR chat players seek a sort of connection with people that they aren't able to find in real life. Um, and I think they aren't really able to find that for a few reasons. Probably the most common is social anxiety, if I were to guess. It could also be stuff like they may have speech impediments, which would make it harder for them to talk to people, then people, you know, find it sort of awkward to interact with them. Um, and so they eventually go into VR chat where a lot of those people have the same problems and they're able to connect with those people that much easier. And then eventually they're the only people they can connect with, and they don't even try to connect with anyone else. So they just eventually only live in VR chat exclusively. Um, and that's how you get those sort of dwellers in there. And they eventually substitute VR chat for every kind of relation you can think of, uh, like familial, romantic, platonic, anything you can think of. That's they're finding it in a game, uh, and that's you know obviously not very healthy. Especially seeking romantic and familial relationships with people online that might even live across the world that you never met before, it definitely becomes a big problem. I th- and it's I feel like the people like that, the people in the 30s that become sort of fathers of these VR chat families, I they're grooming in a way. And I don't want that term to get mixed up with pedophilia. I think those two do usually go hand in hand. Uh, but there's many different kinds of grooming, I suppose, that these guys will do. And they seek familial connection, these 30-year-old men, as fathers of this family. But on top of that, they seek a sort of dominance, a way because they don't have that feeling of power. They start craving that feeling of power and that pride and the sort of feeling of control that they've never had over their own life. They try to get that from a VR chat family. And that's why, and a lot of times in those videos where you'll see these VR chat families, a lot of times the person in the figure, like a father figure, will oftentimes like, oh, you stop talking, you go over there, very demanding, very where he'll try to force people to do what he wants. And that makes those those kids that join that, maybe because they don't feel loved in their own family and seek a replacement, which is obviously not a good thing. They end up joining those families and they are forced a sense of inferiority in a way because they aren't really allowed to have a say in many things, and they're forced to be very obedient, and that's really bad for their mental. It, it's it's really disgusting, I guess is the word for that. Uh, the way people will just willingly do that, they'll spend their entire lives in that game and use it as a replacement for everything because they can't find it in real life. And there, there's people who will pity those guys, who will feel bad for them because of whatever trauma they may have. But at the end of the day, I don't see any sort of excuse you can make for acting like that. Whatever trauma you might have been through, there's definitely better ways of getting through it than forcing that on other people. Um, and I feel like that's the familial side of it. And then obviously there's the romantic, which uh, I'm not sure if it's really worse or not. It doesn't. Well, it probably is, honestly. There's a lot of them will seek polys, as they call them, which is essentially just them having multiple romantic partners, but it's not necessarily an open relationship because they're involving all the partners together. They're not separate things. They're seeking romantic connection with every single one of them, and that's uh, that's not that's not love. That's not romanticism. That's not any of that. That is just, I think, also going into that same thing. It's seeking a feeling of power, seeking a feeling that all these people want to be with you. When in reality, they're feeling the exact same way. It's both people are feeling, oh, all these guys want to be with me. And they see themselves as the pinnacle of this multi-person relationship. Uh, and so that's why a lot of times when you watch these VR chat trolling videos, you'll see a poly, and most times they are probably arguing because that's pretty much all they ever do, at least from the videos I've seen. Who knows? Maybe there's some deeper underbelly of it. I haven't seen at the bottom of this iceberg. I can't tell you what happens at the very deep dark of it, nor do I want to. I really don't ever want to know what's down there. But these people. Sorry, that caught me off guard. These people just they start turning others like them. They because these kids who maybe don't have a lot of friends at school and are able to connect with people better in VR chat will want to be more like these people in VR chat so that they'll like them more. That's, I feel, their greatest fear is losing people, losing the people that they've just barely found. And so they'll become more and more like them, which is ultimately really bad for them because you don't really want to become, my Oshawa just died. You don't really want to become like those people. And I think that's how more of these VR chat players are created. Uh, it's like it's like a drug almost, I think. This feeling of affection that somebody cares about you that might not have had before or might not have known you've had before. And then, you know, you become incredibly reliant on that person. You become more and more like them, regardless on if they're a good or bad person, which, let's be honest, if you're in VR chat, 30-year-old man in VR chat, you're probably a bad person. That's just, that's just how it works. Uh, and so that's how more of them are created. And then eventually those two part ways, and then that person becomes a 30-year-old man and they do the exact same thing because they feel that caring for that person is doing good for them, that they see themselves in that person. It's like, oh, this person hasn't been cared for either, I should care for them. And you're not doing any sort of favor for them. You're dragging them even deeper down to where you have been dragged to the point where they can't even escape anymore and they can't better themselves. They seek this rope to hold on to and never try to climb up to it, to the top. Um, that's kind of what I've seen. It's not really. I stopped making VR chat videos because it was just I didn't want to see those kinds of people anymore. I feel like it wasn't really entertaining to mess with them for me. I do watch videos where they'll troll people. I think maybe it's just the way I do it. I'm not very good at it. Uh, but that's kind of why I don't really do that anymore. I'm lying. It's because I didn't want to edit anymore. I don't really have a subscription to any sort of editing thing, so like OBS, is it OBS? No, that's the thing I'm using to record. What was it? CapCut? Was I really using CapCut? I don't remember, but it was very limited what I could do, and it was really annoying. So, I just decided not to edit, which is why I'm making these kinds of videos now. But anyway, regardless of that, I haven't made a lot of progress in this Minecraft thing. I feel like this video is about to end before I even really do anything. Um, what else is there? I want to talk about something else. I don't want to just leave it there. Uh, this would be a good time to edit the video, huh? I found a village finally. So, okay, here it is. So, I think, obviously there's the platonic side of it. I don't really see, I don't really think there's anything incredibly bad. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I might turn keep inventory on. Never mind, I don't have commands, it's whatever. So, I don't think there's really anything bad with the platonic side of it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're making friends. But as well, if they're the only friends that you have, then it can obviously be a problem. But I think just having friends, having friends in real life, having friends in a game, it's, yeah, sure, why not, man? Uh, so that's why, I'm not really going to talk about the platonic side of it too much. It's not that bad of a problem in VR chat. But there is a fourth sort of side, probably the worst out of all of them. One where they don't even seek a connection with people. They only seek to fulfill their own desires, and those desires usually being lust. Uh, and you'll probably know where I'm going with that. There's a lot of people getting down and dirty in VR, uh, and that it's really weird, I think. People they don't seek any sort of connection. They only seek the feeling, but they're doing it in VR chat where they can't even get a feeling. There is no feeling. They don't feel anything. And it makes me wonder what they do it for. It doesn't make any sense. It's disgusting. I they I don't even think they feel anything. Do they even think of anything? They sit there in VR chat completely by themselves, waiting for somebody to do it with them. Only to what? What do they gain? What are they hoping to achieve? What connection are they hoping to replace? There's nothing. Maybe they do it to brag, to say that I've done it before. I don't it doesn't make any sense. And obviously, the easiest place to do it is VR chat because that is where a lot of people who are doing the exact same thing will be. And that's why you see so many of them. And then they creep into these other groups, these VR chat families and these VR chat polys, and they start doing it with all of them. It becomes like a virus, a disease that spreads between all of them. They don't feel anything, and they just keep doing it because they think they never have a chance of doing it in real life. Holy crap, that's an amazing looking tree. My bad. Uh, and that's honestly the worst part of it. And you don't really see VR chat trolling videos interact with those kinds of people a whole lot, mainly because YouTube terms of service, it wouldn't really work out there. But also because those people are just so incredibly disgusting that no matter what kind of troll you try to do to them, they just laugh it off and say, "Yeah, I'm a weirdo." They know. They know exactly what they are. You you could tell them to their face what they are, what the problem is, how bad this is for them, how bad this is for the people around them, and how they're affecting people. and they sit there and say, I know it's bad, but I'll keep doing it anyway. I I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand that vision. That vision of refusing to become better, maybe not even a better person, just improve yourself even a little bit. That just denial and laziness and that seeking of every possible desire they could have is horrible. It's vile. Uh, and I think anyone who's living like that, those people living like that could see this video and they'll laugh it off and say that I'm just mad at them. That's probably what they'll end up saying. They'll laugh it off and forget it ever happened and continue living on whatever life they think they had. It's it's maybe that is the deepest part of the iceberg, and it's not a place I'm able to understand. Maybe somebody else knows about it, um, but I it makes no sense to me. I did think of one more thing to talk about um, while I was going on that rant, and that's the people who tend to fake things, not necessarily just illnesses and mental stuff, like you see in the people who pretend to have DID and pretend to have all these other stuff like Phantom Sense and all that. And I think the reason they do that is obviously attention is probably just the most clear-cut answer there. Um, but I think as well they become friends with other people who fake DID and all that other stuff. And those people who are faking DID, they obviously do it because they think it's cool, right? They think it makes them interesting. And so they try to make it look cool. And so everybody else seeing those people will then think like, oh, well, that must be, that must be cool. I want it too. And they try to think like, oh, do you think I have DID? And those people will think of any reason they can to say, oh, I think you have it. And so it starts to become a thing where they don't even know they're faking it. They genuinely think that they have multiple personalities. They genuinely believe that they have it when they really don't. They've fooled and lied to themselves about it. And that's why when you see these videos of people calling them out on it, they are so adamant about them lying because they are so firm in the belief that they have it that they don't even really know what's real or not anymore. They've kind of lost all sense of themselves. And, that's obviously not a very good thing. Hold on, my Oshawott there. There's also the phantom sense, the phantom smell. You don't really see those kinds of people in videos anymore, I feel like. And that might be because, they stopped telling people about it, or maybe they've genuinely moved on from it. Maybe people have genuinely started to realize that they don't have phantom sense and that they were just fooling themselves, which is a good thing. I think that's realizing one of your wrongs and what you think you are, and being able to acknowledge that and move on is definitely a step in the right direction. Or maybe they are just hiding away and not telling anybody, like, I have phantom sense. Maybe they have just moved on to private worlds, which is just continuing to escape from the problem, which is what a lot of them have done to begin with. Getting on VR chat is escaping from whatever problem they might have had originally. Um, what is this? Sorry, I'm I've never seen this kind of structure before. Oh, it's the Gen 5 legendary Pokemon. Gen 5 is my favorite generation, man. I really love Gen 5. I think it's really good. Sorry, taking a break from talking about it. I'm actually really interested in this. Electric Gem on the other pedestal. Dark Stone. Hmm, interesting. Kyurem's cave and make them whole again. Huh. Alright. Um, Here, I'll be playing on this world again whenever I talk about other stuff. So I'll probably just put a marker down for this. I'll do gray, a mixture of white and black. That makes sense. Okay, sorry about that. Well, I think that's really all I had to talk about in terms of VR chat players. There might be some other very specific. Well, okay, there are the people who will uh like get not safe for work avatars and all that, and then just walk around with them in public worlds. Uh, and that's honestly really weird because you're exposing that to children, and children might see that and then get an interest in that, and then you've essentially just created another version of yourself. And people who do that, they might say, "Good, oh yeah, good. I'm a wonderful person." Uh, that's really disgusting to think that. First of all, if you genuinely will walk around in those kinds of avatars, expose that to kids, and then not have any sort of remorse, then I really hope you never go outside because I don't want to ever have to interact with people like that in the real world. I don't want to do any of that. Look at this. It's like a bunch of iron. This is actually really nice. I have actually seen, so, bit of a talk. I have sort of tried to make another video before in VR chat, a third video, before deciding that I didn't really want to anymore. But in that video, I did find um, that exact kind of person, the people who walk around in not safe for work avatars. And most of the time, you'll find them in, or at least where I find them, is the Frenny's nightclub. Is that what it's called? The female Freddy Fazbear thing. Uh, and I went up to them, had a genuinely told them like you're exposing kids to this. This is an open world that's not moderated whatsoever, and you're wearing this not safe for work avatar, and you're exposing this to children. And they they looked me straight in the eyes and said the kids should moderate themselves. That is I got stun locked for a second to think that somebody genuinely had that thought that kids should moderate themselves. Uh, that was, maybe VR chat players have lowered their IQ by playing the game too. Or maybe that's their way of trying to convince themselves that they aren't the problem. Who really knows? I gotta find a way to get back up here. I'm gonna need to find some stone. Well, I want to play the game more, but that's really all I had to talk about the VR chat thing. So maybe I'll just talk about multiple things. What do I want to talk about though? Oh, okay. So J Slat, right? Most of us know the guy. I really like his videos. I think he's really funny. I don't know what everyone else's views on him are, but at the time I'm recording this, he did actually release the video where he would no longer post on his JSlat Live uh, channel. I don't really have any outstanding opinions on that. I did think the video was pretty funny. He still put in some comedy in there about him hitting the deer. That was I couldn't tell if he was genuinely crying or not in that one bit. I had no idea. Astounding, man. He could flip that switch. I feel like he has experience acting, because there's no way, right? He has to. I also just realized that this right here is stone, so I'm gonna grab some of this. Ah, sorry. Uh, I do say that I really like watching his videos, but I can't really say I've watched him too much. I'm not the kind of guy that tends to watch live streams and all that. I'm pretty much exclusively to YouTube videos. That doesn't mean I won't live stream. I think if I manage to get a good viewer base that would want to see that, then I mean, I probably would live stream. I feel like it wouldn't really be that much different to what I'm doing right now. It's not really like I'm editing. I think the only difference would just be that I talk to people that are typing in chat. I don't know if that would be difficult or not. I don't think it would be. But, I think I'm pretty content with this right now. I don't know if this channel will ever go anywhere. Chances of it going anywhere are probably lower because of how inconsistent my uploads are. But it's kind of just whenever I feel like it. I think I might end up. I just made another stone pickaxe. So have I had that stone pickaxe the entire time? Sorry, my memory is really bad. So what was I talking about? Yeah, see, there's another case of that, how bad my memory is. Um, yeah, all right. So I don't think it's probably going to be hard for this channel to go anywhere with my inconsistent uploading, but um, I am actually enjoying this sort of video idea where I play a game and then just talk about things as I play the game. It's different from that Megabonk video I uploaded where I played Megabonk and then I only talked about Megabonk because I just talked about the first thing that came to my mind. If I do something like this, it's definitely going to be like this where I just talk about random things. Since judging by that time travel video, it seems to be what people might be interested in. Um, Ooh, completely forgot. I did actually get my first ever comment and first ever subscriber. They were from two different people. Um, but that was pretty cool. I was pretty excited about that. Uh, and the comment was just the word Einstein. Couldn't figure out if that was if he thought I was being smart. Probably not. Let me not give myself too much credit. And I did actually mention how I had a nightmare right after thinking of that time travel idea, which is not wrong. I did have a nightmare. It's been a long time now, so I don't actually know what the nightmare was exactly. But uh, yeah, no, it was something. It was something. Probably some kind of monster chasing me. That tends to be what most of them are. And then the first ever subscriber, I looked at his name and now I can't remember it anymore. It's been too long. So in the next video, I'll find that name. I will find that name. I don't know if they would care about a shout out or whatever. I feel like I might as well though, right? First ever subscriber, write it down in a note somewhere. And then maybe if I'm a big YouTuber someday, they come back to my channel and I let them know, man. First ever subscriber right there. Give them a $2 bill or something. Go to this iron. I'm gonna need to make a furnace, which means I need more stone. I'm gonna grab this copper too, because you can use copper to make Pokeballs. On the topic of YouTubers though, the reason why I decided to do Cobblemon uh, for as my first kind of game for this style of video. I will be playing other games. I originally wanted to do Terraria because I really love Terraria. It's probably my favorite game ever. But I decided to do this instead because there are a lot of people that are watching Cobblemon right now uh, because of the new update that came out, and a lot of YouTubers are actually playing. I saw RDC World start playing it, which is probably the biggest shock. I didn't even fathom that. But also because I do genuinely enjoy Pokemon. Uh, uh, here, I'll talk about my thoughts on Pokemon later, but I also enjoy Minecraft. Probably not as much as Pokemon. I haven't ever beaten Minecraft actually, so maybe I'll yap long enough to the point where I'll actually beat this game. Who knows? Um, I also saw the trailer for Joe Bartolozzi's Cobblemon SMP. I don't know if that's going to be uploaded to YouTube or not, because, again, I don't really watch streams that often. Or maybe I'll just tap into a stream for the first time ever. I really do love Joe Bartolozzi as well. He's probably my favorite YouTuber out of everyone. I feel like he has a really, really funny style of comedy. He gets, serious and talks sometimes. He really has it all, a real all-rounder. I hope he wins whatever award he was nominated for. I know he was nominated for something in the Streamer Awards because I saw a video on that. I can't remember what it was. It was probably just chatting, if I were to guess. That's my guess there. When are those awards? Is that like 2 days? December 5th? There's a lot of stuff happening December 5th. All right, now what else? Pokemon, right? Because that's another topic I can talk about there as I play this game. Now, first ever Pokemon game. I probably did mention already about how I don't like that about how Gen 5 is my favorite Pokemon generation, and that will probably never change ever. That I really loved that game, not only the first but second one as well. Just so good. Loved all of it. Got this apple here. Pokemon recently, I it's definitely been it's like the opposite of growing on me. Decaying on me, is that even a thing? I don't know. But it's I don't know if it's that Pokemon's been getting worse or that my interest has been getting worse. I'm still keeping up with all of the Pokemon stuff. I'm still like looking at everything that's happening. And I don't know if Gen 10 is the next game coming out, but Pokemon Legends ZA did come out, and that was the first ever sort of not mainline, but I want to say semi mainline, like how Let's Go and Arceus was. It was the first ever mainline and semi mainline that I didn't get because I genuinely didn't have an interest in it. When it was first announced, I was really excited because Legends Arceus was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. And so I was excited purely because of the Legends title on it. Should I try that? I don't know. I was purely excited because of the Legends title on it. And, Mega Evolutions as well, that was another thing. X and Y. X and Y was a good game. It had its flaws, and I think coming right after Gen 5, which is a really good game, uh, was not doing it any favors. And there's obviously also first 3D game, animations weren't quite there and expressiveness in the Pokemon, which came right after Gen 5 again, which was had the best animation so far in any of the 2D games. And then even though it went 3D with all those exploitations, it ended up being a downgrade in animation, which I think was the main blow to it. But other than that, I really don't think it was that bad. It had a pretty nice cast of starters. I do really like Chespin, regardless of what people think about it. But anyway, what was I talking about? Legends ZA. Not. I think where they lost me was when the Mega Evolution started to get leaked, or not leaked. They did get leaked, but I saw them in the official announcements for them. Um, and I saw Dragonite. People have already talked about what they think about Dragonite. It just seemed really lazy to me, and that's kind of the consensus with most of the Mega Pokemon. Just kind of lazy. Uh, Now, I did think Gen 5, the legendary Pokemon they added, not legendary, the Mega Pokemon they added for Gen 5 were pretty solid. I know Scrafty. Was it Scrafty or Scraggy? It's probably Scrafty. He was pretty cool. I think Scolipede got one. He was cool. Embor, I did like Embor's. Scolipede was probably the best out of all of them. Scolipede is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon as well. I like a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon. But I don't know. My least favorite legendary Pokemon, I mean Mega Pokemon in that were, well, number one is Starmie. I know some people liked Starmie saying it was goofy. It no, no man. I understand a goofy Mega, but there's a difference between goofy and extending two of its legs and calling it a day, you know? And I did see the animations of it running, and yeah, that was like it was pretty goofy, but I I never played Pokemon for the goofy. That's just not really what I was into. Um, I do tend to like cool Pokemon most of the time. And yeah, Legend ZA was first one I didn't get. Also because I just didn't want to get a Switch 2, too expensive. Um, and then right before that game was Gen 9, which was the first mainline game that I didn't complete. I was playing it, and halfway through I got bored and never picked it up again. I don't think I even beat all the gyms or anything like that. I just stopped because it I didn't really experience most of the problems with bugs and stuff that a lot of people did. But I think even still, regardless of that, which was a lot of people's main critique, I didn't really find it fun. It seemed very uh, repetitive. I think this is a gimme ghoul. It seemed very repetitive. Oh, never mind. And it was just, it didn't, it felt like a Pokemon game in a not good way, if that makes any sense. Probably not. It's like a just the bread and butter, the normal, just the normal, what Pokemon always is, and I just did not find that interesting at all. It was just really bland and boring. I know people liked the story of it. I didn't really get to see that a whole lot for myself. I'm not usually a story game kind of guy. Uh, I don't doubt that the story was probably good. A lot of people have saying I've seen have said it was, so I'll trust kind of people's thought on that. But regardless on the story, a Pokemon game can't succeed with only one good thing. It can't just have a good story. I feel like starters have been getting worse and worse over the years. Um, I think really the last trio of starters that I really liked was Gen 5. I'll keep glazing Gen 5 to the day I die. I really liked all three of those Pokemon. Gen 6 was losing me a little bit with Fennekin, and I'm a fire type starter kind of guy. Fennekin just wasn't really it for me. Um, Now, I will say Gen 7 pulled it back together. I think Gen 7 was picking up the loose ends that X and Y had, and it was pulling it back together there. I did like all three of the starters. Popplio maybe not as much, but it, it grew on me over the years, I think. Gen 7 was definitely a pretty good game. I did really like it. And then Gen 8. Gen 8 is where all three of the starters were just kind of mid. None of them were bad per se. There wasn't any that I didn't hate, but they were just kind of there. Uh, and that's not really a good thing with starters. You don't want the starters to be mid, especially not all of them. Um, Grookey probably be my favorite out of the three, but even then, I don't really like him that much. And then Gen 9 came around, and there was only one that I liked, Fuecoco. And if he wasn't a fire type, I probably wouldn't like him. It's Yeah, I really hope for Gen 10 they kind of pick it up with the starters, maybe get some real interesting designs and stuff in there. I feel like they might be going a bit too overboard with designs recently. Um, because over the years the starters have been getting more and more complex, I feel like. And Gen 5 was that sweet spot, I feel. Or maybe it was Gen 3. Gen 3 had a perfect cast. Perfect cast of starters. Best out of any generation. That's the one thing it takes away from Gen 5. But I mean, Gen 3 is my second favorite generation, so. Yeah, that's normal Metapod. What? That's kind of my thoughts on the recent Pokemon stuff going on. I also did see that DLC. I haven't looked into that too much. I'm honestly even less interested than I am in ZA. I will say though, I did see the Rumble Royale. Is that what it's called? Can't be. Where you have four people and you have your Pokemon out, and then it's like a PvP thing out in the wild or whatever. I did think that was pretty cool. I was interested in that. But I'm not gonna buy that $70 game just for that. That's not happening. And also, if I ever get the game, it's gonna be if I have a Switch too. My Switch One is it's down in the dumps, man. It's practically unusable now. It's done and dusted, man. There's nothing left. Its use has been drawn out a long time ago. Look at that. What do I want to talk about now? Game Awards? When is that happening? I don't know when that's happening either. Is it the same day as the Streamer Awards? I'll probably just watch the Game Awards now. I'm not really that interested in Streamer Awards, honestly, because I don't watch streams. But Game Awards, I haven't really played any of the games on uh Game of the Year. And that's not because I'm not interested in them, but because I'm broke. All right? So that's also why the mic sounds the exact same, even though I said I might get a better one. I was lying. I did not get a better one. Whalmer is pretty interesting. So yeah, I'm broke. I'm not buying those super expensive games. I've never played Hollow Knight. I think I do have Hollow Knight on my Switch, but you know, said it already. My Switch is cooked, so I'm not gonna be playing that anymore. Um, I don't doubt that all of them are good games. I've heard very good things about Expedition 33. I'm not surprised if that wins, but other than that, I don't know. They're kind of just up there. Now, a game I did want to play was Blueprints. I do know to play on Blueprints. I feel like I saw someone play a demo of it, and it was a really interesting concept. I've never seen anyone play it beyond that though, and I was actually surprised seeing it on the nominees because I just remembered after that long time ago I've seen it. Uh, so I do actually want to try that out. The Dispatch I feel like I haven't actually been spoiled on Dispatch too much. I've only seen up to chapter 4 of people play it. So maybe I'll get that and play some of that. Um, Anything else? Uh, I don't know. I don't really think so. I mean, there's Megabonk, and I did see how they would draw. I the person developing Megabonk, it's Danny. Come on, everybody knows it by now. It's not a surprise. And them with drawing kind of just confirmed that even more. What are some other games that stood out to me? I don't know. I do think it's a shame that Aaron Paul wasn't in Best Voice Acting. I think he definitely deserved that. I think Dispatch was definitely kind of should have had more awards. I feel like it was a pretty good game from what I saw. Uh, there's Best Adaptation robbed from Sonic 3. That was that's horrible. Sonic 3 was right there at the deadline. The deadline was I think November of last year. So everything after November of last year was eligible for this Game Awards, and that's exactly when Sonic 3 came out. So definitely robbed from that. Minecraft is probably going to end up winning because all of the other adaptations were mid. Uh, Man, if only Sonic 3 was there, man. Clean sweep. Is there anything else? Probably not about the Game Awards. I can't remember anything else that stood out to me. I might end up watching it. I don't really know what time or day it's even at. I'll probably just be awake one day and see that it's happening and join midway through or something. But yeah, it's kind of about it. I feel like I haven't played enough Cobblemon yet, though, man. I need a backpack too. Let me figure out how to make a backpack. I did add this mod. Okay. Well, I don't have any string or leather. I know you can kill Cobblemon to get that kind of stuff, so let's try to find some of that. I do actually want to know what time Joe Bartolozzi's Cobblemon server is going to be live. I know there's going to be a lot of other people in it. I don't really care about them. Could care less. I did see that the people like Cloak Me Please were in it, and Plenty in it. I feel like I remember seeing that. And they do tend to make content with 3FS, which is another YouTuber I really enjoy watching. I think he's pretty funny. I was kind of hoping that he might have been in it, but it's unfortunately not. It's a real big shame. Uh, but honestly, that might be the first stream I ever watch because I am really interested in that. I haven't had much going on these days. I'm gonna be moving soon, so and then getting a job after the move. Um, that's kind of the plan I've had so far. Get some of these apricorns. Still need a bag. Um, oh, I could probably kill this thing for string, right? A metapod, that makes sense. Come on. Stingy, man, stingy. Or maybe I'm supposed to kill it with the Pokemon? I don't know how that works. I don't know. Yikes. Okay. I'm also running out of food here. Why did I turn these from blocks? Is there anything else? I don't know. Whoa. I don't know what that was. No, it's a zombie. Let me turn around. I actually don't know how long I want to go play this game for while yapping. Not really, not just for this video. Like how many yap videos I want to make playing this game. Because Minecraft obviously has an ending. If it was just Minecraft, I'd end it at the Ender Dragon. Um, and I know there's stuff you can do after that, but I don't really care. But I think Cobblemon's a bit different. Because where do I really end it at? I know there's like an Elite Four that I can do. So maybe I just try to beat the Elite Four. I'm not really sure. That guy's gonna kill me. I can't die yet, man. Okay, I don't want to just sit in a hole though. I gotta be a bit adventurous. I'm also really surprised I haven't found a village yet. Like, come on, man, seriously? No village at all? It's kind of what I've been banking on this whole time. When I play Minecraft, I tend to just travel around until I find interesting things. And no village is absurd. There's a light over here. I don't know. No sea pickles. Um, After Cobblemon, which I'll probably end at the Elite Four, I will probably play Terraria. I have beaten Terraria once, but that was with a friend, so we could say that it's going to be my first time beating Terraria single player. And then after Terraria, I'm thinking pretty far ahead here. I think it's going to have to be Stardew Valley. I don't think I've even ever made it to the mid game of Stardew Valley. It's just like it takes a long time to play. At least how I play it. I take a while to play Stardew Valley. Um, I take most of these sort of open world games. I tend to take my time with them, especially open world crafting. survival crafting. I don't know what that genre is called. Favorite genre by far, though. I really love those kinds of games. You know, the Minecraft, the Terraria, Subnautica, all that. Um, Speaking of Subnautica, hoping Subnautica 2 with the multiplayer stuff and all that. Uh, I know I have heard about the what's going on there. It's pretty unfortunate. It's making me lose hope on if it's gonna come out or not. I'm hoping, things get pulled back together. These skeletons are horrifying. Um, and I'm really hoping I get to see Subnautica 2 before I die. You know, who cares about GTA 6? I've never even played GTA 5, and I don't care what you guys have to say about that. Does that mean I'll never play GTA 6? I probably will, because that'll probably come out when I actually have money. Uh, and so, why not at that point? Might as well. I need to hunker down somewhere. I need to just get enough stone for a furnace and then just lay low. Um, how about we switch it up to the Minecraft aspect of it? I know I've seen um, the world that shouldn't exist. I think that's what it's called. I can't really remember. That was pretty good. I did actually look into that one more about the Yellow King and all that. Starting off as a pretty old book that inspired, Lovecraftian and the Cthulhu and all that. I didn't really go too deep into it. I didn't read the books or anything, but I really got interested in it. I will say everybody is talking about, what was in the video, the Yellow King making edits and all that, but the cinematography and the way I say cinematography, I don't know if that's the term because it's in Minecraft, but no, it's definitely not how that term. The way the video was made, the editing, the commentary, the delivery on some of the suspense and stuff was honestly amazing. That video was incredibly well made. It was uh, amazing, man. I'm speechless on it. I really don't. I can't put it into words. It was really amazing. Incredibly enjoyable video to watch. If you haven't watched that video yet, you gotta check it out, man. I can't remember who made the video, uh, but I think it's the world that doesn't exist or the world that shouldn't exist. Video's amazing. I'm seeing a lot of these like tracks. I guess the legendary Pokemon shows up if you find enough of them. I don't really know how that works. Spinarak. Now that's gotta drop some string. Ah, if I could even get to it. I don't wanna. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this furnace. I don't know if I want to do it out in the open like this though. Whatever. Oh man. Alright. Got myself a drink, some root beer. It's pretty good. I like root beer. I tend, honestly, favorite drink though, ice cold water. It's perfect, man. It's perfect. What was I talking about? I was talking about that Minecraft thing, right? I said everything I had to say about it, really. I don't want to spoil it in case, well, I'm gonna be real. I, everyone's probably seen it already, I think. I don't think there's anyone who hasn't. It has a lot of views. I think pretty much everybody on YouTube has seen it. So, I could probably just say whatever spoiler I want, and it probably wouldn't matter. But I don't really have anything else to say about it anyway. So, what was that? I do know the healer requires a max revive, and I do know a max revive is made by this, and the revive is made by this. Um, that'll happen when it happens, I think. I'm honestly just thinking of finding a village to live in, and then just doing that. That's kind of my goal right now. I could get rid of this. That opens up some inventory space. I also need to make some Pokeballs. Crap. I'm making another furnace because I want to make some Pokeballs and actually catch Pokemon. I have all this XP candy now that I can use so that I don't even have to grind out my Pokemon levels. It's perfect. I've been blessed, honestly. It's becoming daytime too. This is amazing. Alright. Let's get this. Oh, I gotta do this first. Okay. Alright. Anything else I thought about talking about? Let's actually cut down this tree. Get this spinner rack on the floor. Level 1, poor guy. Let's see if he drops string if I kill him with Oshawott. He does. Okay, so I have to kill him with the actual Pokemon, I see. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this Weedle while we're at it then. I don't have any food though. Luckily the Weedle's just right here. Or somewhere over here. Probably up in this tree. Level 20 is a little crazy. It's a little absurd. Okay, it doesn't do that much damage though. Can kill it in one more hit here. String shot's perfect actually. I do know how I don't know if it's basic Cobblemon or if it's a mod, but there is like a level cap I have, which is why Oshawott isn't going up in level. In case you were wondering. And I have to beat gym leaders and stuff like that that spawn to raise the level cap. I think the first one's Brock. I don't really know where he spawns or if he just spawns wherever. Who knows, man? Who knows? Let's try to free up my inventory. Native to Gallery region that can be used to craft Galarian urns. I kind of just ignored this when I got it. Let me... Urn of Storms? Oh, these are the Galarian bird stuff, isn't it? Oh, so these are just the legendary birds, these urns, and then you fuse them with the Dyna Apple to get the Galarian version of them. I see. I do really like Galarian Moltres. Maybe I'll get him. Oh, yikes. Okay. We're gonna put a pause on that. That's not happening. Let's get rid of this too while we're at it. I don't need that either. It's probably good. Let's get some Pokeballs. That's what I would say. If I actually had enough apricorns, which I don't. What is this? It's like, it's got apricorn leaves, but it's like fall. It's interesting. I mean, it must be another mod I have in here. I did say that I was the one that added the mods. I didn't make the mod pack. It was a friend of mine. They made this mod pack for a server that I've been playing. It's just a sort of friend group server. Decided to just use that mod pack for it since I thought just playing Cobblemon would be a bit boring. At least for me. And I wanted to just do a little something more. What the? That's weird. I mean, I guess I might as well, right? It's just free wood. So, you know, that's the Legendary Monuments. It's a pretty cool mod. It adds legendary Pokemon into Cobblemon. But on top of that, also adding quests for the legendary Pokemon. So they don't just spawn randomly and you go to catch them. You actually have to do quests to summon them, which is really cool. So if you ever think about playing Cobblemon, might as well, you know, add that in there too. It's nice. How did my Oshawott die? Did Graveler kill it? What just happened? I don't even know. What's that thing? Pedalo? I do need a sheep to make a bed. Because if I make a bed, then it's essentially a healer, essentially. It'll do the same thing. Oh, come on. I already have 2 white wool, man. Just give me 1 more. Ah, it's not gonna give it to me, is it? This sucks. Alright, whatever. Yeah, I also got this, minimap. Just quality of life kind of mod. That's pretty cool. I'm running out of things to talking about. See, this is where I start talking only about the game, and that's where the problems start coming around. Because I feel like that's just not too interesting. So, I kind of run out of stuff to talk about, though. Do I really end it here? I don't want to end it here. Those are just fines, really. Man, do I try to circle back around to VR chat? I'm already done with that topic, though. Man, viewer interest is plummeting right now. Man, I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank. No, this is bad. Wow. I've never had this problem before. Usually it goes one from the next. I mean, well, yeah, I can't really think of much else to talk about. Without treading over kind of new stuff. I mean, there's Digimon. That's close to Pokemon, right? I do know there's that new Time Stranger game that I really wanted, but once again, I'm broke. I'll put it out there. Uh, so that's kind of why I don't have that game. I do really want to play it though. And shoot, it looks really good from what I've seen. I haven't seen spoilers all the way to the end. I did want to keep myself spoiler free for the most part. I've also never played a Digimon game before. I have watched the anime, obviously, the first one. Absolutely amazing. Love that. Pure nostalgia, probably, but who cares? That's really, the only place my Digimon interests come from, but the game just looks really good. It honestly might be a situation like how DC is moving right now, where I think DC has a brighter future than Marvel, and I think Digimon might be able to do the same thing. If they can keep this up and keep up this interest, I think Digimon interest might be dying down. That's kind of just the hype from the game dying down though. And you see that with Pokemon too. I think Pokemon not as much purely because of the amount of stuff people have had for Pokemon. Like Pokemon challenges, Nuzlocke Invitational he did. I think it's Point Crows as well. I don't know. I think both of them did it together, I guess. He's dead. Um, that was pretty cool to watch. I didn't watch it live. I think I just watched a recap that Pokemon Challenges posted or Peachal or whatever. Uh, and that was pretty cool. I did like that. And that's kind of why the Pokemon interest, with Cobblemon as well. That's why Pokemon just never goes away. And Digimon doesn't really have that. Digimon doesn't have that Minecraft mod, that uh, tournament style challenge. It doesn't have that. That's really where I think it's struggling, is just player interest in it, in making their own things from it. Which, it's probably partly because Digimon does seem to be a pretty confusing thing, pretty confusing sort of franchise with how it works. It's not as simple as Pokemon. Uh, and that might be one of the reasons for it. But I really hope that Digimon starts doing better. See more mainstream of it. I think that'd be really cool. I'm not some Digimon super fan or anything, but just trying to see an underdog thrive. That's really what I live for. When The potential winners lose and the underdog wins is what I live for. It's my favorite thing ever to see. I'm always rooting for the person with the biggest disadvantage. And that's kind of how I play games for the most part too. I try to give myself the biggest disadvantage and then try to come out on top on it. And then usually it becomes too difficult and I stop playing the game. It's a really big problem I have. Maybe that's why I tend to play these sort of relaxing games more often. I was playing Where Winds Meet. That game's I really don't know how to feel about that game. For a free game, it's incredibly well made, and I thought more videos would be made on it. But I think purely because it's a year-old game, uh, that was released in China before, and also because it has mobile game ties. Maybe that's why people aren't really making videos on it, or maybe people just don't. I don't think it's actually that interesting of a thing to make videos on, you know, because it's a story-based game, incredibly long story-based game with I want to say like Elden Ring style gameplay with the bosses, really difficult bosses and all that. And so when you're trying to make videos on it, you kind of have this mix of two things, fighting bosses and the story. And it's kind of hard to do both of those at the same time. That's why you see people who make Elden Ring content, they tend to make their own story, they don't they don't care about the story. They're just there for the bosses. So maybe that's why I don't really see people making videos on it too often. I've also never had an interest of watching people make videos on it or watching people's videos on it. Um, but I did play that game a bit. Chose the hardest difficulty. Uh, Started struggling on one boss and then kind of grew out of it. I did really enjoy it though. That's not to say it's a bad game. I had fun with it. I remember seeing a video because obviously I saw this well-made game that was free, and I was talking to a friend. I'm like, "Yo, what is this?" And they told me that it was probably probably fake or whatever. So I looked up some videos on it first, and I saw this one video talking about a bunch of like additional features it has. Oh man, sorry. I think first one that's I can't remember the first one they talked about. But then the entire rest of the video was just them talking about player romance in the game. And I already talked about that at the start of this video with the VR chat stuff. You know how I feel about online romances. Uh, not not too good. I think I'll cut some slack. There are some cases where it's not that bad of a thing. You know, you meet up online, you fall in love with each other, you eventually meet up in real life, and all's well and good. Exclusively online though is not good at all. Not good in the slightest. And then also on top of that, they talked about a sect, like a sect you can join in the game that allows you to have polys, and I've already told you as well how I feel about that. Uh, and so I was really confused on that part of it, but I was pretty pleasantly surprised that it had pretty good combat. I did enjoy the combat, although admittedly basic, uh, but I enjoyed gameplay too. It kept me engaged until I started struggling on the boss, obviously. It was kind of one of those situations where I couldn't beat the boss, but I don't want to be a pussy and, lower the difficulty. That's lame. Lowering a difficulty after losing to a boss, I'm never doing that till the day I die. I'd rather die before doing that. Uh, Now don't pay attention to this being on normal mode. Minecraft is different, alright? Because I'm not playing Minecraft for the difficulty. It's just because I can kind of just turn my brain off and just enjoy the game. Man, there are no apricorns near me. If I had a bed, I could probably sleep it off, but I did find some cows too. Oh, heck no. Okay, I don't know what's making that music. I might have to kill it though, because that is incredibly annoying. is. It's just because it's playing the same song over and over. I think if it played something different, it wouldn't be that bad, but you know. Oh, well, I have a bunch of excess iron. As well, right? Okay. I might as well, let you guys get to know me more, talk about my interests, if I'm gonna sit here and continue yapping. Um, I do really enjoy reading. Let's make that the next topic, right? Reading. Purely like novels and light novels and stuff is not really what I'm into. Uh, I do tend to lean more towards comic books. You can think about that however you want. I don't know if there's some people who like say that people who only read comic books are whatever. I don't know. I don't really know the community of that kind of stuff that well. But I do tend to lean more towards uh, what am I hearing right now? I do tend to lean more towards Japanese and Korean sort of comic styles, like manga and I merged the two together, manga and manhwa, uh, and not necessarily because I like them more. I'll like any story that's good. I think it's just uh, I don't even know what it is. Maybe there's just more for me to read. It's easier for me to find stuff to read with those kinds of from those kind of genres or something. But oh, that does no damage. Uh, but I have been reading some. Oh, it's kind of, admittedly, it is embarrassing to sometimes talk about the things I read. It's not something I've ever talked about before, unless they have the same sort of interest. And who knows who's watching this video and what kind of interest that you guys have. But hey, if you want to get some recommendations, there was one. Wow, I am now drawing a blank on all of their names. Hold on. I'm dead. I took my hand off the keyboard. I had my phone because I was gonna look it up. That's horrible, man. All right, well, anyway, what was I talking about? Ah, maybe I should have just went into a hole and hid. All right, so recommendations, right? I will say I have been reading more manhwa, the Korean style. Is that is that what they're called? I think so, right? Maybe. Uh, and you know, it's mainly just because of how they sort of make it. There is obviously the difference where manhwa will have the up and down scroll where you can just scroll on your phone. I don't really read it on my phone though. It's usually just my computer. Um, and then manga have the colorless right to left book style. And that's not really what I mean. It's kind of how do I put this? So manga will tend to have the author and artist, the person making the story and the person drawing. Most of the time, they tend to be the same person. And then, you know, a publisher picks it up, like Shonen Jump, and they'll publish the book on their sort of thing. Uh, and manhwa do it sort of differently. Most of the time, from what I've seen, manhwa start off as light novels and are then picked up by a company of illustrators to then illustrate. That's why a lot of times you'll see, this one manhwa from the studio that made the Omniscient Reader's Point of View. That's a good one. If you haven't seen that one, you should read that one. It's like the staple. And also, what is it? I don't know, Solo Leveling. That's another common one that was turned into an anime. Uh, you'll see those, and it's the studio is just the illustrator. Actually, I think Solo Leveling was made by the same people though, wasn't that? I can't remember. And so most of the time, the author will just start off as the light novel, with no pictures or anything like that, and then it's picked up by the studio of illustrators to then draw. And that also tends to create a more centralized art style that you see in a lot of them. Um, Not necessarily like a manga. That's why manga art styles tend to be a lot more diverse. Uh, there's just, I mean, all of them is just each person is a different person illustrating, and so you have a lot more diverse art uh, in it. And I do think that is really cool, but the studios they usually never fail with the art in a lot of them. And even though a lot of them might look similar, I think they still manage to bring a sort of distinct feel to them. Like one that I've been reading, uh, that I think recently came out with a new season. I think they call it seasons. I'm not really sure what they call it. New new season. I don't know. And see, this is what I mean by it being embarrassing to talk about, because it's like one of those with a pretty long title. It's I can't remember it exactly. Sashi Taking over the academy with a sashimi sword. That's probably what it is. Um, and I will say it's pretty good. I do. I'm drawing a blank now on how to talk about it. I mean, I like it. It has. I think the art is really good. The combat and choreography is really nice. I think the studio that picked it up. Uh, I don't quite. I don't know any of the studio names really, but I do know that it might be either their first work or their first like big major work that's really taken off. Um, oh man, but it is a really nice read. I wouldn't say it's anything groundbreaking. If you want to talk about groundbreaking, something where even the story is crazy and it's just really top tier. Um, See, this is why I was picking up my phone before. This is the exact one I was gonna look up because I didn't know the name. Uh, just give me a second here, and I can find it. I could probably find it on my computer faster, but I don't know how that's gonna affect recording. Man, I ran out of food here. This is gonna take a while to get back. Hopefully my items don't despawn. That would suck. Pick Me Up. That's what it's called. I think sometimes translation is different. Sometimes called Pick Me Up Infinite Gotcha. Most common one is just Pick Me Up though. And if you've never heard of it before, you'll just hear Pick Me Up. And what is it? I'm actually curious. What does that sound like? Does that sound like romance or whatever? But no. I pretty much only read action. It is an action manhwa. And it's a really good one. I can talk about this one. This one it's the casual or the normal trope of guy gets brought into the game. I think they do it in I don't know if it's like a different way. It's the guy it's the trope where a number one player in the game gets brought into the game and is forced to, live through it. But they do it in a different way. Okay, I figured it out. They do it in a different way where it's like multiple people have been brought into the game. That might be a spoiler, actually. How do I talk? Okay, let me not talk about it spoiler free. My bad. Uh, it's the guy gets brought into the game. He manages to survive. It has a lot of strategy-based components in it, instead of just being like, "Oh, I gotta fight my way through." Um, it does go a lot into strategy. Thinking about how they do it, what the best way to do it is. And there's actually another one that does that really well as well. living as a barbarian in the game, I think it might be called. I don't know if that's right or not. I think there might be something else with a similar title, but it's not it. Essentially, a guy gets brought into the game as well, and he becomes a barbarian, and other people are also brought into the game, and there's a guy next to him who has been brought into the game and starts freaking out. And then the other barbarians at this sort of like ceremony kill him because he took over his body. He's an evil spirit. Kill him, and they kill the guy. And then the guy, pretends to be a normal barbarian, pretends to be stupid, and then moves on into the tower, where he goes into the tower, and adventurers go into this tower to fight through it, the different floors. He fights through the first floor, and you get money from it, and you have to pay taxes in the town, and if you don't pay those taxes, you'll get kicked out, which is why a lot of people keep going into this tower. That's basically the premise of that. I'm really glad my items haven't despawned. It's really nice. If I was just playing this game by myself without yapping, I probably would have stopped right there. But I think just because I wanted to yap more, that I continued playing the game. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. So, now that I got my stuff, man, I think that's really all I had to talk about. I did have this skeleton avatar that I just remembered. Maybe I'll find a Moon Knight one to match my profile picture. But anyway, I guess that's it. Is this how Minecraft people usually do outros? Alright, I guess that's it, guys. Let me know if you're enjoying this style of content. I guess I could probably judge it based off views, but I would enjoy comments as well. Maybe some back and forth. If you do comment, I'll reply to it. And subscribe as well. Leave a like on the video. That'd be really appreciated. Kind of increase my motivation to do this sort of stuff. Is this how they do it? It's really awkward to move around like this. Sorry. So, I mean, that's really it. Let me know if you are enjoying this game, or maybe you'd rather see me on Terraria, and I'll just go ahead and do that one and then come back to this one later. Or maybe there's something you want to hear me talk about. You want me to make a video purely on VR chat, where I have the sort of style as the time travel one, where I'm just drawing whatever stuff, a bit easier to explain it. Maybe you want to hear more about the recommendations or whatever. I don't know. Just leave a comment about something, I want some interaction, But I think that's about it. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know when it'll be, but hope you're having a good rest of your day.